What's up, disc golfers? This is Matt Dollar, and I'm here today with the first round of the ERP Ironman presented by Latitude 64. And I am actually the tournament director for this event, and we're trying to raise some money for new concrete short tees out here. So, right now we have concrete tees for the black tees, which is our longest set of tees. But we also have the blue tees and the red tees, which are the two short tees, and they've been gravel for almost 10 years now, and they're in bad shape. So this is basically my home course these days, and my best friend and Roswell Club president, Brian Gort, um, we both decided that we wanted to try and raise some money to get these short tees replaced. So what we're going to do is put in one set of concrete short tees. We really just want to make this course the best that it could possibly be, because it's already a very good wooded course. So anyway, we're on hole number one. Hole one's actually maybe tougher from the blue tees than the black, because it's only about 20 feet shorter, yet you don't have that beautiful big concrete tee pad to throw from, so you kind of have to run uphill into some crushed gravel. But everyone threw a really good drive. I went with the defender. We have Alex Watts here. He's one of our hole sponsors. He plays in the advanced division. He threw a great drive. Looks like he's going to have an easy three. Chad Yeatts, if you remember him from the ERP Frisbee Trail video, he is our Tomahawk Master. He takes an easy three, and so do I. Although that putt did look just a hair to the right. So it's super duper hot on this day here in Georgia. This is a one-day Sunday tournament where we play all three tee pads. So we move on to hole number two. And I go with the thumber with the hatchet. You really want something that just flips kind of quick. This is my good buddy Zach Kemmer right here. And he went with a sidearm with a rock 3, I do believe. Chad Yeatts goes tomahawk, as expected. And Alex appears to be lining up a backhand. Early tree from Alex is going to make this one a pretty tough save. He's going to have to go patent pending, throw it from the back. But he throws a great shot and gets it right up there for an easy par. Zach's going to catch a little work job here. Right as he putted that, someone's phone went off. Sounded like an alarm. He actually hit most of the chains, though. That one definitely could have stuck. It just spit out the left side. So I hit my birdie putt, and Chad and Zach both missed theirs. Alex makes a good save, and we will move on to hole number three. Throwing the defender on hole number three. One of the toughest things about being the tournament director is you don't get a warm-up. When I ran through bright and early this morning, I ran through some of the holes with one putter and some tape and a bunch of T signs for the sponsors, and put those T signs up. So I did get to throw my putter a few times, but that was about it, and that was 2 hours before we started. So it's always hard that first round. That's one of the good things about playing a 3-round tournament today, is that I knew I would be pretty rusty in the first round. So just gonna try my best to get some stuff going here. So I hyzered way up to the left, and actually gave it a really good bid for the 2. Chad goes into crane range from pretty far away. It appears that Chad has extended his crane range since the last time we watched him. Zach threw a great drive, and he's able to knock his birdie in there. He's going to be the only birdie of the group. Alex is putting to save his 3. Hole number 3 is one of the most beautiful holes on this course. It doesn't feel super wooded, so that's one of the nice things. And the blue tee, you actually can see the basket. So the blue and red tee are both great on hole 3. So I'm not sure where we're going to put that new concrete tee for the short pad. Yikes, that was a bad thumber I just threw. It kind of sucked right directly out of my hand. I was trying to throw it really soft, so it takes a big pan right to left, because it's not a very long hole. So that's one of the worst thumbers I've thrown here, probably ever. But it still got up there, so I'm probably only 80 feet from the basket. Should be an easy 3. My disc is actually stuck straight up and down against the side of this log, so it was weird footing. We actually looked for it for a second before we found it. As I pull it out here, you'll hear me say ta-da, because Zach Kemmer was helping me look and he couldn't even see it once I found it. So I'm going to try to drum something up here. Oh, what up? I'll tell you what, that definitely got the day started right. Big putt on hole 4. That was the classic soft judge that I was going with there. And I actually quit putting with it a little bit into this round because it gets so hot that the sun is kind of, making it extra gummy. So I went with the classic blend. I'm actually carrying the classic soft and the classic blend both now, so that I can switch depending on how hard I need my putter to be. Anyway, we move on to hole 5.
Roll left.
And if you missed it back there on hole 4, Chad Yeatts hit an awesome putt. And Zach Kemmer was parked. So, hole 5 we go. Zach goes with the thumber, comes up a little short. I go with the soft Cenis, and I also come up a little short. I believe this hole is only about 230 feet, so I'm really just trying to throw a nice, easy hyzer. Kind of treat this one like it's an upshot. But you want to hang it out to the right and let it float back down to the left. But it looks like most of us just carried a little too far to the left, which is easy to do. Alex makes a great putt there to get his birdie. I remember I was really trying to zone in on this one. I thought that was going to go in too. I was totally feeling it when I went to putt it. And then I just gave it a little too much gusto. And I don't know if it lifted or if it just didn't drop, but it's just a little high and cruised way on down that hill. Almost made the comebacker, but not quite. And then Zach, after watching me, decides to get up there and airball his.
There you go. Good putt.
But unlike me, he makes a great putt for the comeback to save his par. So, huge bummer for me getting a bogey there on hole number 5, which I pretty much count as a birdie from any tee that I'm playing. So we move to hole number 6. Hole 6 from blue is a pretty tough shot. Chabbing with a tomahawk, which is a pretty good play. If I like the tomahawks a little better, I would probably do that. There's also a thumber line down the left side, but it's pretty tight. There's one main gap to hit, but I decided that the best thing to do was to try and go up the middle with one of my zero hard maces. Zach goes with a thumber, but he doesn't really choose a line. So he went right in the middle and caught one of those trees. I thought that mace might go in the hole for a second as it was standing up, but it caught that last tree and kicked to the right, which still should give me a putt for the birdie. Everyone else is pretty much just having to chip up and try and take their par. Although Chad's got a putt right here. Definitely not crane range, but he's got a putt. Pretty good bid. I'll tap in for my birdie, which I definitely need after catching that 4 on hole number 5. So I'll be the only one to grab a birdie here on hole number 6, and we will move to hole number 7, which is probably the only tee on the course, or the only hole on the course where the blue tee is harder than the black tee. So they're about the same distance, but the blue tee is just a little to the left of the black tee. Carla, our camera lady, is actually standing on the black tee as she films this. So it forces you to throw a hyzer that flips up, but yet still has to go straight and then finish left. Everyone that's throwing a decent shot is actually missing a little bit to the left once they make that gap. So Zach goes with the backhand. I think he went with the sidewinder to try and get that flip up, but he hit the tree on the right. Chad's stuck down here in Death Valley, but looks like a pretty darn good upshot he throws. Zach's going with the forehand. Looks like that rock 3 again. And boy, did he fillet that one. Great shot from Zach. I got a long bid for my birdie, but not able to capitalize. And we were on Chad for a second. He quickly directed us over to Alex, who was pitching up for his par. This is where Chad's tomahawk from his second shot got him. It's really tough if you finish over there to the right side, which is near hole 8's tee, because there's so many trees there that it's really hard to get a good line. So Chad goes into crane range and snags his bogey there. I'll tap out for par, as will Alex, and Zach with the beautiful upshot from the bottom of the hill is right by the basket. He may or may not have caught a little bank shot off one of those last trees. Taps it in left-handed. So we go to hole 8, one of the 2 par 4s, although it's a short par 4. I would say hole 16 from the long tees is borderline between 4 and 5, and then hole 8, the other par 4 on this course, is borderline between 3 and 4. So it kind of evens out. So even though it's a little shorter than from the black tee, it's still a par 5. There's not really a route to get all the way to the basket. So you still have to play it as a 2-shot hole. Although if you do get froggy and throw some kind of really good shot off the tee that turns hard right and doesn't hit one of those trees, you could possibly have a putt. Chad was trying to get freaky there with a sidearm roller with a Metal Flake Max. It did not work out for him.
Great shot.
Zach was way back to the left. He actually threw a good drive, and as it hyzered into the gap, it hit the base of one of the trees and rolled way back. So after getting hosed on that one, Zach is able to throw a pretty good shot up there, give himself a chance to save birdie. My thumber roller that I threw off the tee with the spark, I'm not sure if it landed on a pine cone or a root or something, but I like the angle it had when it landed, but it just turned directly right and rolled into this little, I don't know, maybe a wooden fence you would call it. Looks like some Boy Scouts came through and built it up. I was able to throw a pretty decent second shot, but caught a tree. I went with a sidearm felon. So Chad's drive rolled so deep that he actually used hole 9's fairway to come back up towards the basket. Boom! Another long putt with my judge for birdie. So far this round, the driving is not looking too great, but the putting is looking real good from downtown. So Zach actually went too far on that beautiful second shot he threw. And then he is denied by the nubs. Tough break for Zach. Looked like a really good putt. Just a hair too low, and that back edge of the rim caught the nubs. So we move to hole 9. I go with the thumber here. You can see some leaves coming down. Little course maintenance with my spark. I'm going to finish over to the right side. This hole, what you want to do is hit that gap. If you look dead down the middle, there's that one tree in the middle. And just like Zach missed to the left of it, that's exactly what you want to do. But there is another tree right over there to the left, blocked by these other trees that you can't see, that will absolutely deny anything that is not hugging that one tree in the middle. I really hope that one day we're able to take some trees out on this hole, because the shape of this hole is amazing. Like, this could be such an awesome hole, but there's just too many trees in the fairway. So So everyone's playing a little scramble golf. Alex threw a good second shot, but he caught this tree down here in front of him and then rolled backwards. It really looked like he was going to be down there on the green, but just didn't work out for him. Unfortunately, he catches another tree there. So we're looking at me. I'm down here on the right side of the green. I have a weird hyzer look. I'm able to get it out there and hit the basket, but not able to put it in. So definitely not the front nine I was looking for, although it wasn't too terrible. If I'd have made that putt on hole 5, it would have been a pretty good front nine, actually, but 3-putting there definitely cost me. Zach with the absolute park job there with his thumber. Not the first time or the last time that Zach's going to try to show me up with a thumber. What do you know? Here we go again. Hole number 10, Zach with a thumber. It's a hard thumber line on hole 10, though, because you have to hug the right side of the fairway, have it pan in, but then there's still some trees blocking the route to the basket. So really, if you throw that thumber and you throw it perfectly, your best case scenario is to come out 30 or 40 feet short right of the basket. So I went with the backhand, very easy,
There it is.
soft throw with the hatchet, trying to get something to stand up, but I pulled it just a hair to the right also and hit a tree. So now we all just commence into scramble golf. So I don't have a route to putt out to the basket. It was a pretty good drive before I caught that last tree. So I'm just trying to chip it back to the fairway and give myself a 20-footer. And I putted it into an Inviso branch, or so we call it, which means there was a branch probably 10 feet in front of me that was so small I actually didn't even see it. I was just kind of zoning up my line in between the trees. So it took everything out of my shot, and then I really tried to commit to making that putt for my 3. And when I missed, it landed on the backside of that hill and called a roll. So now I'm up against this tree trying to save my 4 from about 35 feet. And my foot slipped when I shifted my weight forward. But for some dumb reason, I putted it anyway and hit left side chains. So a completely avoidable 5 double bogey on this hole pretty much sent my round into, well, maybe not absolute shul, because we've got 5 short holes in a row coming up here. So if I can get all 5 of these, it'll get me back on track. Now we're on the little double Mando hole, hole number 11, which we're hoping to change in the near future to make a better hole. But as for now, it's not terrible. It's only 175 feet. That's the real complaint about it. But you do have to hit this double Mando. It's pretty small. Carla was going with the monopod raised up above her head for this hole. Oh, actually, I believe I was holding the monopod there at first. And now Carla's going to hold it for my shot.
Yeah, that's the line to go.
We were hoping that we could see the top of the basket over that hill, but you weren't able to, so everyone made the Mando. Mine was a little squirrely, but whatever, we're all up there. Alex was a little left. He gave it a bid and hit that tree. So this was definitely the worst thumber I threw on this hole for the day, but it still worked out and got me a birdie. And this hole is one of the CTP holes also, so that will come into play in later rounds on this hole. But as for now, I hit my birdie, Zach hits his birdie, Alex will get a par. And we'll move on to hole number 12. That is an OB rock pond in the middle there. Zach comes out a little left, but he is safe, so he'll be fine there. Unfortunately, Chad pans his tomahawk a little too much, catches one of those trees, and kicks directly into the OB rock pond. Ooh, I was trying to give it a good ace run with the soft Cenis there. Not able to put it in, and not able to get to CCP. But will be able to get a birdie.
CTP.
Alex pulls his a bit wide, gets a little sneaky, but gets up there for birdie. Chad puts a pretty good bit on it, trying to save his par. Unfortunately, he'll have to take a bogey on this short hole because he went in that rock pond. Zach will make good for his birdie, as will I. You can see right now the CTP standing there. But Chad will hand it to Alex, and Alex will mark that CTP, but the CTP does last all 3 rounds, so we'll see if that holds. We move to hole 13. Zach goes with the tomahawk. Catches quite a roll on that one. So I actually abandoned my game plan after hole 10 and decided that since I was having a rough round, I should just try and catch an ace on video. So instead of playing the hyzer route on this like I should, I actually threw my putting putter, my soft judge, and tried to ace it up the middle, which didn't work out. So Alex has caught himself in some thick trees on the right side, but he's able to pitch out with a sidearm.
Good shot, Alex.
Chad's tomahawk down the middle. I think Chad might have been trying to go for that right-hand line, actually, with his tomahawk, but he caught the middle tree. Almost throws it in sidearm. Good bid from Chad. So I got another straddle hyzer putt. Hit a pretty good line, just hit it dead center high. So Zach actually rolled pretty far back there. Pretty unfortunate because he threw a really good tomahawk, but when you throw overhands, you live and die by the roll. It's just the way it goes. So Zach's having to straddle out here, and he's gone to a knee. Could be a tough putt. I think a little bit of hyzer. Oh, great bid from Zach, just a hair too high. Really unfortunate. He usually does good work from his knees. Chad makes his putt, saves his par, as do I. But really, you're not wanting to take a par on a 200-foot hole, so Zach's the only one to really throw a good drive, and even that didn't pay off. So we have a star par on hole number 13, and we'll move to hole 14. Hole 14, the blue tee, is the weirdest of the tee pads, because you have to throw this weird, funky hyzer, or not hyzer, sorry. It's a weird, funky right turn, but it turns quickly. I go with a thumber with a hatchet. Caught a terrible roll off the base of that tree, but as we said a minute ago, live and die by the roll when you throw the overhand. Zach went with a forehand with his rock 3. Threw a pretty good shot. Alex went forehand. Didn't work out quite as good. And Chad catches himself a tree and rolls over to the left side of the fairway. Alex looks like he's lining up a thumber here. I mean, at East Roswell, when you get off the fairway, it is very important to have an overhand or at least a really good sidearm, because getting out of jail on this course is a lot of how your round is going to turn out. There's so many trees and the fairways are so tight that you're going to get off the fairway. That's just a simple fact. So you have to be able to have the shots to save your pars once you get off that fairway. Sometimes it's just to save your bogeys, but regardless, being able to scramble on this course is a huge deal. So even though I caught the roll there, I had a pretty good little bit at it, and unfortunately, my little downhill hyzer putt, I putt straight into the bogey band. And then for the second or maybe third time this round, Zach just follows me up and puts it right in the same spot that I do. So hole 13 and 14, we get through there with no birdies, and that is sad for a pro open card. We move to hole 15. Zach goes tomahawk again. I go with the soft Cenis. I always throw a tomahawk on this one from the long tee, but just moving it up that little bit kind of made me a little apprehensive for the tomahawk, because once you go past the basket on this hole, there's a little hill, and it takes you straight down to a walking path, which is OB and beyond. You can see that walking path there now in the background. So that scared me out of the tomahawk. I didn't want to just accidentally juice it too far, so I went with the backhand. And it was a very good decision from this tee.
Yeah.
You see it right there. Chad makes a great putt there. Chad and Zach both show us why the tomahawk is a good shot for this hole. They both card their birdies. My backhand will get me a birdie, and we'll move on to the hardest hole in the course, hole number 16. So from the black tees, this is just the ultimate monster, because you're teeing from the very bottom of the hill. But the blue tees, you actually move up, not all the way to the top of the hill, but a good ways. It's probably 50 to 70 feet shorter than the black tee. But it's still a really tough hole. Definitely still a par 4 at this position. Or from this tee box.
Yes.
And really the only thing you're trying to do is land in the fairway. I mean, from the black tee, the long tee, that's really all you're trying to do is land in the fairway. From the blue tee, people get a little more aggressive, as I did, actually threw the hatchet, which seems crazy because, you throw a driver, you're probably not going to land dead in the middle of a fairway without skipping, but I went with what I had. And I threw a pretty good drive, but still left me in some trees on the left side, because like the fairway kind of pinches halfway through the hole, and there's trees on the left, and there's the gap on the right. The trees on the left that are in the fairway aren't so dense that you can't throw a shot out, but still not easy. So I'm left with this, looking at my birdie. But since we're not playing the black tees, I mean, I really do want to get a 3 on this hole. And I'm stuck in a weird spot. I got kind of a straddle going on, a little hyzer. Not able to put it in. That'll be my second 4 of the round. And I got a 5 on there too, so. Zach goes down to a knee and makes good on that birdie. Great putt from Zach. That was pretty amazing the way Zach played this hole, because he threw a tomahawk off the tee and kicked off to the right, and then threw an amazing second shot, and then hit an even better putt. So, great job from Zach on this hole. Alex misses, so Zach's going to be the only one to card the 3 for us. I make my short comebacker for my 4. So Zach birdies, everyone else takes a par, and we move on to hole 17. Hole 17 is so hard. It's not as hard from blue, but it's still pretty tough. I go with a sidearm defender. Actually pulled it a little wide. Didn't quite use all of the intended fairway there, but it's going to give me a putt. Chad's also going with a tomahawk. I mean a sidearm, not a tomahawk. Sorry about that, Chad. You just throw so many, I get confused. So Alex is going to be brave and throw a backhand. There's not much of a backhand line. But holy cow, did he just throw an amazing shot. That's one of the best backhands I've ever seen from the blue tees here. Probably because I haven't played many rounds on the blue tees.
Boom. Nice putt.
So Chad pitches up for 3. I make my putt for 2. Zach's got a downhill comebacker for his 2. Zach went with an enforcer sidearm on this hole, and I went with the defender. So both repping the trilogy love for our forehands. And Alex just drops in his birdie. We move on to our last hole of the round, hole number 18. Just like hole 9, both holes that close out each 9 holes here, each 9 hole loops, because they do loop back to the center. Both of these holes are downhill, and both of them are beautiful and should be amazing wooded holes, but they have too many trees in the fairway. I went with the hard line, or the 0 hard mace there, and that was that red one that I've been talking about that I've started throwing recently. Not quite as beat as the yellow one that I throw. I actually pured this one. That's probably the best drive I've ever thrown off this hole. I thought it might skip in the hole, and then it caught the last tree, which is probably 10 feet from the basket at most. and rolled a little bit down to the right, but I should still have a putt
Valley
there.
directing the sound this way.
So Alex has found himself in some trouble on the right side. Anytime you don't get far, at least halfway down this hole, it's really tough not to at least get a bogey. He's got a long putt to try and save par. But if you run a long putt on this hole, you are definitely flirting with a rollaway. And Alex did catch the rollaway. Chad was able, he missed, but he was able to slide up against that tree just past the basket down to the left. Zach's got this putt for birdie. And that would have been for a 47. I'm able to make my birdie. Those last two birdies are going to get me back to a 50, which is 6 under par. Zach missed that putt there, but he's still going to card a 48, which is the hot round from the blue tees. Unofficially rated about 995. So Zach's putt there would have definitely got him in the 1,000 rated territory, but he will have the lead going into the second round, which will be the red tees, which are the shortest tees on this course. So thank you guys for watching, and please check back for round number 2, which is the red tees, and then eventually round number 3, which is the black tees. And thank you, Carlos Seward, for filming, and Latitude 64 for their support. Thanks, guys.